All right, let's get into it. Have you ever wondered what it really takes to go from just, ordering a coffee in another language to actually debating the big ideas that are shaping our world? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain and deconstruct a blueprint of an expert language lesson that's designed to do exactly that.
I mean, that's the real question, isn't it? This is the true test of fluency. It's one thing to say the sky is blue, but it is a whole other ballgame to share a nuanced opinion on artificial intelligence, or misinformation, or the future of work. That jump from simple to sophisticated, that's what we're breaking down today.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to look at the challenge of what fluency means today. Then, we'll unpack the toolkit this lesson gives you, the specific words and the grammatical structures. And finally, we'll see how it all clicks together in a real conversation to build that confidence you actually need. Okay, so let's start with this idea of the modern fluency challenge. See, once you hit that intermediate B1 level, the goalposts totally shift. It's not about survival phrases anymore. It's about getting the tools to analyze and really engage with the complex world happening all around you.
And you've got to pay attention to the wording of the goal here, analyzing and debating. This isn't just about describing what you see anymore. It's about being able to form and then defend a point of view on current events. That is a massive, massive step up in your communication skills.
So how on earth do you start building a skill like that? Well, it all starts at the foundation, vocabulary. I mean, you can't debate what you can't name, right? So the very first step is to arm learners with a super curated arsenal of words perfect for these modern conversations.
Now, this is what's so smart about the lesson. It doesn't just throw a dictionary at you. It organizes the vocabulary into 3 essential pillars for understanding the world today: social issues, media, and technology. So you're getting words like chômage for unemployment, fake news, and intelligence artificielle for AI. This makes the language immediately relevant and gives you the power to talk about what's actually going on right now.
Okay, so you've got the words. Great. But how do you put them together so you sound informed and not just, like you're spouting an opinion? This next part, this is the secret sauce. It's all about learning the grammatical frameworks that turn a simple sentence into a really sophisticated observation.
The lesson gives you 3 key phrases that are kind of like different lenses for looking at the world. First up is on dit que, which means it is said that. Think of this as your go-to tool for tapping into what people are generally saying, the buzz, the common wisdom. It lets you bring up an idea without having to claim it as a hard fact.
The next layer of nuance you get is with il paraît que, or it seems that. This is for talking about something that you've heard or that appears to be true, but you're not 100% certain. It's the language of emerging trends, and it adds this perfect, subtle touch of, I'm paying attention, but I'm still weighing the evidence.
And the final piece is the real power move for sounding credible: selon, which just means according to. This is how you bring in a source, whether it's an expert, a study, or a news article. And suddenly, your statement isn't just your opinion anymore. It's an informed position that carries real weight.
And check out the difference this makes in practice. On the left, you have a really flat statement. Young people like TikTok. Okay. But on the right, using our new structure, it becomes on dit que les jeunes aiment TikTok. See? Now you're not just stating a fact, you're commenting on a social trend. It's a tiny change in words, but it's a huge leap in sophistication.
So, we've got the words, we've got the grammar, but all that knowledge doesn't mean much if you can't actually use it when you're talking to someone. This is where the lesson design is just brilliant, because it builds that crucial bridge from just knowing things in theory to using them in a real, spontaneous conversation.
The way this is structured is just so incredibly smart. It creates this safe, supportive environment that builds your confidence step by step. You start with a really low-pressure chat with a partner, just getting comfortable. Then you move up to a more dynamic role play, putting the language into a realistic situation. It's all about creating a safe space to try things out, maybe mess up a little, because that's the absolute fastest way to get good at something.
And here's what that looks like in action. You have one student, maybe they're playing a journalist, and they introduce a trend using one of those key phrases. It is said that remote work is the future. Then the other student jumps in with their own analysis. According to me, it's practical, but you need a good balance. It's this perfect miniature debate where they're using every single tool they just learned.
So, after all of this, the vocabulary, the frameworks, the practice, what's the real payoff? What does a student actually get out of this? Well, it's so much more than just a few new phrases. It's a fundamental change in how they can communicate with the world.
And here it is, the end result.
In a single lesson, a learner goes from just knowing individual words to weaving them together into a real argument. They can now use relevant, modern vocabulary, apply nuanced grammar, and actually discuss and debate real-world topics. But honestly, the most important outcome of all? It's confidence. This is how you build real fluency, one brick at a time.
So that leaves us with one final thought. We've just deconstructed the entire blueprint for how to teach complex communication. So now I'm turning it over to you. With these tools, what's the first big trend you'd want to dive into and really debate? The future of AI? The gig economy? The choice is all yours.